fest during last call where everybody is just kind of exchanging like goodbyes and like keep in touch and giving everybody like their Insta handle and be like, hey, hit me up sometime. You just go back into the fight hall, which is actually the place where you realize that he was hanging from your shell, and you just see him at the bar sitting up on the bar stool with several books then on top of the stool, and him sitting on top of the books so that he can actually see above the bar, and he's just nursing an ale.
You think they'd have like gnome-sized stools?
Man, there's systemic oppression of the gnomish race, man. The man keeps bringing them down.
Or like I
No
think
pun
the
intended.
stools should be adjustable.
It's my $5.
Oh yeah, go ahead. If it's your $5, that's fine. Yep. So you see him and make your way up to him, and he just looks at you, and there's like this weird moment where it's like he's like looking at you, and you can tell he realizes he's supposed to know who he is, who you are, but then like it's like then it clicks in his head. He's like, I remember you. I hitched a ride on you on opening night.
That's right, my friend. I would like to offer you this, and I'm going to hand him a silver, just because he's one. He's my little Nomi,
My little Nomi.
My little Nomi, you say it like he's a pet.
He's
I love
homie, Nomi, homie.
He's my gnome boy.
And speaking of that, Shannon, you said it was 2 coppers for that for my
for just
bracelet.
a leather like an embossed leather bracelet.
I only have silver, so I'll have to. I'm not even
mark yourself down 1 silver and then give yourself 8 copper, and then that's the exchange rate.
8 copper.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so then I'll give. All right.
This is cute. I want to wear it.
I'm gonna give a silver to Flarney.
All right.
Flarney.
So he just takes it and looks it over and just flips it up in the air and snatches it and puts it in his coin purse. Well, thank you for that.
And then I'm gonna say, with your magic, if you ever need me, try to get a hold of me.
Well, I appreciate that. You and your friends take care now, okay?
Stuff already.
We will.
Tell you what, have you ever made it as far south as Ginglevuk?
Gigglefuck.
I might know it as another name.
Actually, you have heard of it. It's in the Southern Spires, and it is, if you've got the world map up,
I do.
Right down there, south of the Amber Vale, and it is the Gnomish Stronghold.
Can you do it one more time?
Yep, right down the lower left corner, as far
Okay.
as you can get. It is the Gnomish Stronghold.
I had it scrolled up so it said the Shat.
Uh-huh. Nice. Yeah. Like, well, I do tend to hang around there from time to time, so if you want to come down and see me, I'll hit you right on your shell again. We'll have a good time.
Sounds good, my friend.
Can I buy you a drink before you go?
Please.
All right. 2 aquavitas, please. And the bartender is just like, he sets it up, pours gnome size, and then he pours you one that's about 3 times that big. And the Flurgan just picks up the shot, and he just holds it up to you, and he's waiting for him to do the cheers, and you guys clink glasses, and he just says, here's to you and here's to me, the 2 best friends there ever could be. But if we ever disagree, well, then to hell with you. Here's to me. And he shoots it.
And Marlo laughs because that's hilarious.
And he pats you on the shell, and he's like, you're a good guy, Morlo. I like you. The world could use some more people like you.
Thank you, sir.
And then he just turns back to drinking. And he's like, you know what? Here. And he reaches down in and he fishes something out of his pocket and he hands it to you, and you take it. And it's like this little like figurine, like a marionette. And you can see it's got the key sticking into the side of it to be wound up. And you take a second and you wind it up, and like on the palm of your hand, it just kind of marches around in a circle a few times and then eventually just tips over, just like a little clockwork doohickey.
Cool.
So on your other possessions, you can mark clockwork figurine if you would like.
Clockwork thingy.
Clockwork thingy.
Yes.
Is the technical term.
Yep.
Okay.
That doohickey, that fan dangler.
La chingadera.
You can put Clockwork Chingadera if you would like to. That would be fantastic.
Shannon, I think you should know that every time I look at the my money, I I like that. Every time I look at my money, I just kind of glare at that 4 Electrum.
It'll always be there. You'll
No,
never
it's
spend
not. I got rid of it. I turned it into silver.
it. Nice. Yep. But then we
What
can just say
is-
that somebody gave you change back in Electrum, so make sure you put it back on your character sheet.
No.
I forget, what is the exchange rate for Electrum?
It is 5 Electrum to 1 gold piece. It isn't just a weird intermediary step between silver and gold.
Yeah,
That
it's, like,
is-
it's the
And it's
only one that's
only-
like that.
It's
Yeah.
only in Waterdeep. It's only like used in Waterdeep.
Well, it's the only reason it's in D&D is because it's actually historically accurate. Electrum was like a traded material for a while in the like late medieval, early Renaissance period.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, but it's
Shannon-
only used in Waterdeep.
what's up, Scott?
Before Morlo leaves, he wants to ask the gnome again. How do I pronounce your name?
Flurgan? Flarney Whoop.
Okay, Flurgan Farneywoop.
No. Flurgan Flarney Whoop.
Thank you.
Yes. FLURGIN FLAAARNEYWOOP.
Morlo just wanted to be gently corrected again because he knows he doesn't understand the nuanced pronunciation.
The
but
nuance
he loves-
of the nuance
Yeah.
of the gnomish tongue, the gnomish palate is hard to grasp for other
it's-
races.
it's very charming to the turtle.
It's a hell of a name to say when you're shit faced. Hergen Harneywoop.
That's yeah, exactly.
All right. So, any other last minute shopping or anything before we jump in to the procession out of Bright Hollow?
Is Logan going to be with us?
Logan is working. I have caught him up on everything he wants to do before leaving Bright Hollow, and he said he gets lunch at 2:00 and he is going to jump on just to say hello.
Sweet.
All right.
Any word about Jim? Or is he working too?
Haven't heard. He knows what time we're playing. So if he shows up, great. Otherwise, I will just run Natari as an NPC. All right. We good, Ben?
Yeah, I've been recorded.
Oh, fantastic. All right, then. When last we left our heroes, a smart bet on Morlo in the fighting pit made Titus a fair amount of coin, which he generously distributed amongst the party. Xanthion also came into some money by winning the annual archery contest. But the most notable event occurred after Morlo had vented his frustrations on a total stranger in the fighting pit, when our beloved Tortle also made acquaintances with an odd bard named Hamlin. The newcomer's odd behavior put our heroes on guard, and a slight bit of enchantment from Titus uncovered some sinister motives. In a scuffle to subdue the imposter bard, Hamlin retrieved a bead from the necklace of fireballs and hurled it at Natari, exclaiming, "Nimoir sends his regards." When the dust cleared, all our heroes had managed to survive, but the suicide bomber was no more. An irate Dylan Fiasco called for Tanea, custodian of Dimig, the College of Spirits, who used her magic to interrogate the head of the deceased Hamlin. A carefully chosen progression of questions revealed that Nimoir, known as the Cold Priest, was the head of the afflicted communion and was pursuing Natari to recover a book that was instrumental in an effort to free the Mother of Woe. The final question in the posthumous interrogation pointed the way toward Wellsgrove as a possible lead. With that excitement behind them, our heroes closed out the 1,314th Odic Fest with a flurry of last-minute shopping and networking. After being paid the agreed-upon sum of 100 gold pieces each for their services as security, a message came over the pendants that Petra's ride was here. Proceeding to the south gate, our heroes discovered a massive ebon carriage, drawn by a team of 4 coal-black steeds with flaming manes, tails, and feathering. Whereupon Devalor Detlev, the emerald-clad footman of Madame Intranera Verine, emerged from the carriage and bade our heroes to enter. The interior of the carriage is lavish and spacious, with overstuffed benches, upholstered in burgundy velvet, matching the curtains that cover the windows. It is dim inside, bathed in a faint golden glow with no discernible origin, just barely enough light to glint softly off the brass fixtures on the walls and ceilings and illuminate the damask pattern of the carpet beneath your feet. One by one, each of you file in and find a seat on one of the 4 benches, unless there is something anybody else would like to do.
Felix just kind of looks in. Mr. Detlev, am I saying that correctly?
Detlev, but yes.
Detlev.
And he's just holding the door, just kind of ushering everybody in one by one.
I'm a little claustrophobic. Would it be all right if I sat in the groom's seat as it's not taken?
He just looks up at the groom's seat. Well, I wouldn't mind.
Well, thank you.
And so, as the rest of everybody is filing into the wagon, Felix, you go and start to climb up into the groom seat, and you get to the second step up onto the bench seat for the groomsman. And as soon as your foot touches the platform to sit down, all 4 of the horses just rear back, and all of a sudden you watch as their mountings that keep them lashed in place on the wagon magically fall away, and they all turn their heads to look at you and just snort fire and brimstone smelling smoke in your direction. And you can see their eyes just narrow into gleaming slits, and from behind you you hear Davalor say, "They might."
Fine. We'll sit in the cab.
Oh,
Get down.
Felix, it won't be so bad. It's pretty fancy in here. I'll pour you many drinks.
And as you go, like one by one, the horses look forward, and you can watch as their lashings magically just flip back into place as they are now ready to go. But the last one just kind of looks at you for a second, just like glinting at you, and just like snorts a
You
big
too.
billow of flame and smoke, and then looks forward and it lashes back on. And Davalor just kind of shrugs. They're temperamental. My apologies about that.
Where did these horses come from? They're phenomenal, and I want 10 of them.
Oh, they belong to the madam. They have been under they have been under her employ longer than I have.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to ask her where she got them.
Would Felix know anything about magical horses of fire and feathers?
Roll me. When I say feathering, I'm talking about along the fetlocks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the technical equestrian term for that. Like how Clydesdales have the big like furry poofs over their fetlocks. That's called feathering.
Okay.
It's like hoof bangs.
Yeah, basically,
bangs.
right? Yeah.
Boots with the fur.
Roll me either an Arcana check or a religion check.
Sorry.
Which I thought Felix did this on the last session, but go ahead and roll me a new one.
I don't know if I did or not. 16.
16, Titus with a 20. A 16, you know that these, well, it's not hard. Fire and a scent of brimstone around them. These are obviously tied to the lower planes, specifically probably the 9 hells. Titus with a 20, you're aware of the essentially the general lore of the nightmare.
Well, as I'm getting in the cart, I'm going to just look at Felix as he's doing his thing to get away from him. I'm just going to be like, please don't piss the horses off. Please.
And one by one, assuming that Felix is not going to push his luck with the nightmares,
Nope, just sitting in the damn cab.
everyone files in into the interior of the carriage, which is about twice as big as a standard carriage, because a standard carriage has a bench seating arrangement where there is a bench and up to 4 people would be able to face each other. Imagine taking that and then another one, so that one bench is back to back with facing backwards and forwards in the direction of travel, with other benches on the front and back. So it's 2 and 2 facing each other, 2 and 2 facing each other. Davalor steps into one of the corner seats on the back, So he is facing the direction of travel, tucked into his own little corner. As far as seating arrangement, I really don't care. We can say where anybody is sitting in whichever arrangement that you want. But one by one, you all filter in and fill the interior of this lavish and strangely, almost disconcertingly ornate interior to this obviously magical carriage. Titus, you actually know for a fact that it is magically enchanted because your detect magic is still active, assuming you are concentrating on it. Whatever light source is in here is obviously of an arcane origin because it has no source. There are no shadows. The light just seems to be glowing softly from everywhere.
Can I cast Identify without being noticed?
Do you have it prepared, or would it be as a ritual?
Let me see if I've got it prepared.
I think if it was a ritual, you'd have to like woo.
No, I don't have it prepared.
Yeah, and so a ritual, you're talking about trying to take like 10 minutes to...
Yeah, I'd be noticed that way.
Yeah, you'd be noticed. I mean, there's always the question of if it would really be considered impolite to do it in the first place, but if you're actually wanting to do it on the down low, basically impossible.
Okay.
And you guys, so you guys file in. Natari sitting kind of off to himself. He takes one of the seats on the far front and just kind of sits there looking troubled. Xantheon sitting beside of him, just counting out his winnings and checking over his belongings to make sure that he hasn't, forgotten anything. Petra with a goose under her arm.
She's giving the goose little nips of her wine as she pours everybody else wine.
Yeah. Oh, Dad, no. Dad could try and make a ritual stealthy. Just like make him do a stealth check for every round. Dad, make 100 stealth checks.
With my 20, does Titus know what nightmares eat?
I mean, you know that there has to be some sort of a significant sacrifice to bind them to your employ. The specifics of what it is can vary, but I mean they're carnivores.
So I don't know about the platinum ground with oats.
That's one of the things that they eat, but the sacrifices that they eat tend to also be like, it usually tends to be living sacrifices when you bind them to employ.
Pure unbridled souls. Yes. Full use of the pun with unbridled.
Okay, I'm just going to admit that with the backlighting that is going on behind Christian and the way he was leaning back, that is a bizarre looking silhouette that can be confused for something else.
Oh, God.
Damn it.
Just saying.
Out of the gutter.
Just saying.
I kind of got like the whatever the scene was where white t-shirt, underwear, socks, the water bucket. Just
Oh yeah, Flashdance.
Flashdance.
That was instrumental to a young man's formative years.
Which one?
Before Emma gets in the carriage, if she approaches the horses, did they look angry?
Are you trying to approach them cautiously? Like, I mean, are you...
She wants to pet them.
Roll... You know what? This is not going to be animal handling because these things have the intelligence of a person. Roll me a persuasion check.
I have higher persuasion anyways, surprisingly. Well,
yeah, no, they snort at you, and like one of them just starts like digging their hoof along the ground.
Okay, yeah. Well, like.
I think he unplugged his mic.
Yeah,
Problems?
I did.
Okay.
She would like kind of like she's not like trying to hide or anything. She's just gonna like obviously be.
You're trying to approach them,
step up, and then
right.
like when it starts being aggressive, she's gonna step back.
Yeah.
And be like kind of sad as she goes and gets in the carriage.
Yep. And so you file in, and the carriage closes, and Davalor pulls the burgundy velvet curtain to the side and opens the window and leans his head out and just gives the verbal but non-linguistic command to go, just like, hey, or whatever. Closes the window. You feel the carriage lurch forward, and you guys are on your way out of Bright Hollow and toward whatever lies ahead.
Titus starts setting up a little area for him to copy spells into his spell book.
Okay. So Titus is just going through and getting out paper and ink and
kind of mumbling to
various
his
different books.
He's mumbling to himself the whole time in like a different accent. Oh
You
Is
see
yeah,
him-
it just us in the carriage?
Davalor's in there with you.
Okay.
And yeah, you see Titus pull out 3 very ornate books, and then what you know to be his spell book, and is just like comparing notes. Looks like he's getting ready for a test or something. Very boring like that. Studying. Yeah. And anything else anybody is wanting to do as the carriage is just beginning to pull away?
Emma's gonna like sidle up next to Titus.
he keeps unplugging his mic.
Lord. Emma's gonna sidle up next to Titus and just kind of like watch him for a minute, and then she starts to take out her own stuff, her potion making supplies.
And it's cramped, so it's like you've got like a Bunsen burner between your feet on the floor holding it in place, and
Yeah.
like you've got all of like the ingredients and stuff spread out like on it. Between you and Titus, you kind of look like those kids in math class who really, really want to get an A.
Anybody want some wine?
Davalor just kind of looks up and he's like, oh yes, absolutely, please.
Petra hands him a bottle.
Emma, at the mention of wine, she doesn't do it, but like if Petra is looking at Emma would like kind of look up, debating whether or not to ruin it.
Nice. And yeah, he reaches down underneath the bench seat that he's sitting on, and he actually pulls out a drawer, and out of the drawer he pulls out a wine goblet, pops the cork on the wine bottle and pours some, hands you back the bottle, distributes
I
wine
thought you were
goblets.
just gonna drink through the. I was just giving you the bottle to drink out of. I have plenty.
Oh, thank you for that. And he stashes the recorked bottle back in the drawer with the drinkware and closes it.
Anyone else
Hey.
want a bottle? Felix, are you gonna be uptight this whole way if I don't give you wine?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you gonna be uptight this whole ride if I don't give you wine?
I'll take a sip.
Here's a bottle. Take as many sips as you like.
Warlow chuckles and said he might be uptight anyway.
Yeah.
And Davalor, with his freshly poured goblet of wine, just kind of tucks himself back into a corner, reaches into a pocket on inside of his cloak, and he pulls out a book and he just starts flipping through it and reading quietly to himself.
Is the book magical?
No, the book is not magical.
Okay.
And so you guys have been traveling now for probably about 5 minutes or so, probably just long enough. And remember, the curtains are drawn, so you guys cannot see out. You just see the sunlight kind of filtering through the curtains a little bit. And you guys have been going probably just long enough to have sort of made your disappearance over the hills, the softly rolling hills of the northern Amber Vale, to be away from Bright Hollow a little bit. And then all of a sudden, through the curtained windows, you can just see the daylight just suddenly darkens considerably. Not like nightfall, but more like a suddenly the day has become exceptionally overcast. Like what was direct sunlight filtering through on a bright and sunny day into the windows has now become very dark, very dreary outside. Although you can't see through, you just are aware of the amount of light coming through. And almost as if in response, the illumination of the inside of the carriage grows slightly, still very dim, but enough to offset.
I mean, it's just curtains, right?
Yeah, just curtains.
Could Emma seeing this, could she like sit up and try and draw the curtains?
Yeah, you all notice this. So Emma, you reach forward and you pull the curtain back a little bit, and you just see rolling, billowing fog of a bluish gray cerulean color that just seems to be all that you are traveling through is like a fog bank, and everything else is like the green of the grass it's like it is suppressed, like it is almost monochrome, but not quite black and white. Like everything still has its color, but it's muted, as if you are seeing like through some sort of a filter that removes 90% of the color from everything. Everything is very drab.
The contrast has been just dragged down.
Exactly. But the fog is oppressive. I mean, it is like a fog bank has rolled in.
Does it look like the ground's going by like fast?
About as fast as you would expect
Okay.
a carriage drawn by 4 horses to go. I mean, it's not like you're moving at some insane rate of speed.
Okay.
Dave Valor, I don't mean to interrupt your reading, but can I ask you a question?
And he just looks up from but he kind of puts sits the goblet down on like a little like armrest beside him, and then puts his finger in place so he doesn't lose his place, and just kind of glances up.
What do you know about Madame Verine?
And he just takes a ribbon and lays it in the middle of the book and clasps it shut and puts it away in his cloak. It's a very involved question, but if we want to take the opportunity to discuss your employment with the madam, now we certainly can. I was going to let you settle in a bit to the ride. It's going to take a while to get there, but I've been under the employ of the madam for a few good years now. What is it specifically that you're asking?
Well, I've heard a lot of rumors about her. I mean, being
yes.
a good person and helping people and everything. I was just wondering what it's like working with her. Yeah, I don't know, any information you could get to help me succeed in this job so I don't disappoint a very rich lady. That would be great.
Roll me a persuasion check. 16. Well, I can tell you that the madam is not one to entertain formal company often. Your best bet, give the performance of your life, and when you are not on stage, don't be seen. The madam is a very private person. She tends to keep to herself. Fetching an audience with her is not difficult, but unless she has specifically requested to interact with you, best not to make eye contact, best not to speak directly to her unless spoken to first. Should you meet her in
Sounds like
a
a hard
hallway,
ass.
yeah, she can be, honestly, if I'm being frank. But
Please be frank.
she is an exceptionally influential player in Trirexian politics. She holds quite a bit of sway and has the material worth to back that up.
How did she get it?
Oh, the Verine family has been amassing it for centuries. She is just the latest in a long line of matriarchs. Verine Manor goes back nearly 3 centuries now.
And why is she having this big formal party if she's so quiet and private?
Honestly, I wish I could answer that myself. She has instructed me to gather entertainers to provide a bit of frivolity to the soiree. But as far as what her intent is and why she has invited these particular guests, that's on a need-to-know basis, and I don't.
Does she have anybody else close to her that she confides in? Or is she a loner?
I would, not to toot my own horn, I would have to say that I am probably her closest confidant, although I don't pretend that she confides everything in me. She's got her fingers in various different odds and ins and outs. But I seem to have gained her trust, and because of that, I am privy to certain delicacies.
So you're saying she's good with her hands?
She's good with everything. She's an exceptionally accomplished woman. Certainly one of the most accomplished employers that I have had in my years of service. I feel very fortunate to have come under her employ.
How did you meet her?
Well, as with many, my first encounter with the Lady of Want was requesting a favor. I was a bit downtrodden and down on my luck. Wasn't having much success making anything of myself. No family or friends to speak of. And I came to her asking if she could help me strike it rich.
And did she help you?
I don't want for things nearly as much as I used to. I don't go without nearly as much as I was accustomed to. I was a bit of a, to be honest with you, I was downright a street urchin during my upbringing.
Sounds familiar.
So yes, she has certainly helped straighten my life out. And for that, I will be eternally grateful.
And she did this with nothing and expecting nothing in return?
No, she certainly expected something in return, and that was my undying fealty, which she has earned. And this is a lifelong appointment, at least I hope so. My understanding is that my invitation to be her footman, hopefully it's long-standing.
Lovely. Okay, well, better than the information I had before, so I appreciate it.
What is an example of one of the largest requests someone has made of her?
Well, please understand, when she has, when she holds court with someone, that's always a private affair. I'm never in the room when they are discussing business. But, I mean, I know that she has had very influential people come calling. Nobility from each of the three kingdoms, representatives of the Alban, the Sabian Conclave, well-to-dos out of Sorvel, military types from the Sentinel cities. She brings all types, and I can't imagine that their requests are small.
Maybe that's where she got the horses.
Well, Madame Varine's influence extends beyond this world, I can tell you that. She has powerful magic. She wouldn't be able to pull the strings like she does if she didn't.
So does she offer the same price for her favors with everyone, or is it different?
I can
You
only
gave her your loyalty.
Oh, hold on just one second, guys. I'll be right back. Hey, what's up, Lil?
Just got done.
Oh, are you on your way home?
Oh, well, not yet. What do you guys have for lunch?
We didn't really have lunch.
Oh,
I'm having pizza.
okay.
Danny, have you heard about La Roma closing?
Yeah, they're doing their switch.
Are they? That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Usually they
Yeah.
announce it.
Yeah, they're the pandemic kind of threw the whole family schedule into whack, so I think they just did it early to get ahead off of it.
A little table talk for Petra. You might want to ask what happens to your contract once this is fulfilled with the paper that's got your blood on it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
you
thank
might
you.
not want to ask until later. I don't know. I just wanted to chime that in.
Yeah, Petra asks that yeah, I don't know a lot about this whole blood thing. What's going on with that? And
Unfortunately, it's a very standard request that she often makes for the people who do business with her. I'm not exactly sure what she does with it.
and so I'm not going to be in her employ for forever, right?
Oh, no. Your
Okay.
contract was for one appearance.
Right. Okay.
As I understand it, your contractual obligation is fulfilled as soon as you perform at the soiree.
Okay.
Quite an ensemble you bring, I have to admit.
Yeah, the name of our band is Petra and the Backups, and we've been practicing for weeks.
I just
Bit
eyeball
prosaic, but it
So
Felix.
works.
excited.
I eyeball Felix when she says that.
I just like
What, the Petra and the backups or the practicing for weeks?
Petra and the backups.
Oh,
I just
you just
like
staring ahead.
I like the idea that this guy is like, oh, we've gotten this band, and then as soon as they get in the carriage, two of them sit down with a fucking like spell components in a book, and the other sits
Chemistry
down
set.
with no instruments in sight.
It is, and I will be honest, it's smelling a little funky inside of the carriage with your herbal ingredients, and Titus with your various spell components that have to be used, because when you transcribe from one spell book into the other, into your own personal spell book, it's not just the ink, it's not just like writing it over, like you actually have to tinker with it, because every wizard kind of has their own shorthand. So what you're doing is kind of figuring out the way that this wizard did it and being like, oh, okay, so if I do it this way, and then that means burning through several like small material components in the process.
Kind of
So,
like you're casting the spell to put it in your book.
mm-hmm.
Oh, the horses smell better. Oh, prestidigitation. Oh,
Yeah,
lilac.
Smells like
Oh.
lilac inside.
Oh.
Anything else
Thank
I can
you,
answer?
Felix.
Anything else I can answer for you, Lady Petra?
Where are we right now? What's up with this fog?
Oh, the nightmares prefer to travel through the border ethereal.
Oh,
That sounds
So
like a
we're-
bad idea.
so we're there right now.
Yes.
Is this the same ethereal plane that is supposedly being messed with? Like if you use Misty Step or what? Not Misty Blink.
Shit is gathering in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
This is-
does Titus say that out loud?
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
I just wanting to make sure I got it in my head. Are we
Just-
in the same plane of existence?
Yes.
At that point, Felix is gonna shoot Titus a look, though.
May we not do that, please?
He just like a genuinely like disconcerted look on Davalor's face. It's like, I'm sorry.
I have reason to believe that it has been infiltrated by some creatures that we don't want to deal with right now, and I'm sure your horses don't either. I believe they are called. Do you remember, Felix, what they were called?
Aberrations of all sorts.
Yeah, they were just aberrations. We didn't have an actual name to them. Generally unpleasant creatures. We were surprised by one evening before we got to Bright Hollow.
I immediately open the curtain that I'm next to and just start looking around like, fuck.
Roll me a perception check.
Like I'm gonna like looking at the what's his name? Read his name again.
Davalor Detlev.
Davalor. I'm gonna look at him and just kind of be like, we watched a man cast blink and come back in pieces.
Oh yeah, that part too.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was quite graphic.
Oh. My goodness. Yes. Well, there are no shortage of unusual things that we have seen. I can certainly put in the request. I am not in charge of the transportation. I am here as your emissary, guide, greeter, if you will. But I can certainly put in a request. And he
Please
leans
do.
over and he opens up the curtain and he opens up the window. Meanwhile, Titus, really hard to see through this bizarre rolling fog that almost seems more than fog. It almost seems like that bizarre way that when you're underwater, like the weird waves of light just tend to go around and like weird shadows cast off of everything. So anything more than just a few feet away from the carriage, you really can't make anything out. You don't notice anything for the time being. But anyway, Davalor opens the window and leans his head out, and you hear him say something in... he just says, excuse me, there has been a request from the travelers that we return to the material. And you just hear almost in unison these 4 whinnies all at once that do not sound happy. And I was like,
Didn't we say something about pissing off the horses? Maybe we should.
no, I understand that, but they seem to be concerned a bit with potential dangers in the border ethereal.
Oh,
Do I
great. You can speak to
understand-
horses.
Do I understand the horses?
Just sounds like whinnies.
I mean, with like the beast speech stuff.
No, because they are not beasts, and that is
Okay, I
just
figured.
just speak to animals, right?
Um,
Beast speech is
It-
you can cast speak to
it's-
animals
no,
at will.
It's the no, it's the hold on.
Tip it over.
Yeah,
It's
tip it
the
over.
Hold on, it's the shepherd trait.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Eldritch Invocation.
Did that go over?
Of course, with beasts and many fae. No, read, write, Sylvan. Beasts can understand your speech. These are not beasts, so it does not apply.
Okay, I figured.
What about comprehend languages? Is it technically a language?
You don't know, but you can give it a shot.
I'm not too interested. I was just wondering.
Gotcha. Okay. So leans out. Well, okay, but I don't want to put our guests ill at ease before we even arrive. And then just all at once, you just hear the 4 steeds just like more than a whinny. It is just like a full-on neigh, like loud in unison, a chorus of 4 voices. And I mean, just sounds like a horse, but like if you've ever heard a horse say, hell no, it is right now.
Yeah, I've watched Mr. Ed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. That's funny because they're infernal.
Of course.
Hell no.
And Davalor just brings in looking a little sheepish, like not wanting to, not wanting to upset you guys. Like his job is to be, a hospitable host. I mean, he just says, well, I'm sorry, they prefer this method. I can tell you.
Right.
I thank you for the attempt.
I can tell you they are well accomplished at defending the carriage. I've seen them have to go into action before. So
I believe it.
anything that would want to mess with us would have to get through them first.
Emma's
Don't worry.
Emma's done with the like trying to mess with alchemy, and she's just kind of paranoidly watching out the window.
Roll me a perception check.
I'm not rolling on D&D.
We can handle ourselves just fine. I think we'll be all right.
8.
Mr.
No, wait, that's an 11.
11?
Yeah.
Kind of just looks like a fog bank. Hard to make anything out.
He's just gonna sit there and keep watching.
Okay.
Mr. Jetluff,
If at any point you want me to make another check,
Looks over at
just
you.
tell me.
Where did you come from before you worked with the madam? You said you were, your words, not mine, a street urchin. Were you in one of the three kingdoms?
Well, I grew up in Cortain, specifically on the streets of Cortain. Sort of just meandered my way around, fell in with some disreputable sorts. Not to put you on your guard around me, I assure you I have amended my ways, but did spend a little time behind the bars of a dungeon from time to time in my youth.
Oh, I would love to hear that story.
Not really anything adventurous, usually just stealing food to survive.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, never mind.
And,
That's too depressing.
Do you reside at the manor with the madam now? Or?
oh, yes. Yes, I do.
How? If you don't mind my asking, how large is the estate?
It's a sizable manor. I couldn't dare give you square footage, but I mean, it's certainly never felt cramped with just myself, the madam, and the kitchen staff there.
That's all that work there and live there?
Yes. I mean, it is just the madam. She has no surviving family, so really one footman is all she needs. And then the kitchen staff to prepare the meals and tend the garden.
Interesting.
Awkwardly sips wine.
Yep.
Gulp.
Go ahead and since you are continuing to look out the window, go ahead and roll me another perception check, Isaac. And anybody else who's nervously keeping an eye out the window.
No, I want my spell.
Okay.
Emma, would you like to name my goose? I was thinking Cracker, but
18.
So you're sitting there and you hear Petra say, "Would you like to name my goose?" Which actually would bizarrely appeal very strongly to Emma. I think we would both agree.
Yeah.
But then like right as you're about to tear your eyes away and be like, "Yeah, I want to name your goose," you just see like in the distance what looks like darting from tree to tree, this little thing that looks like a spider, except from this distance you would guess it's probably about the size of a deer or a brown bear, just like, and it's
Is
that
it like
weird,
is it like you know how when you're a kid and you just imagine like some and like you're looking at the car window and you imagine some guy running on the rooftops?
Mm-hmm. It's that very much, it's like that staccato movement where it's like completely still, but then in a split second, in a blur, it's over here.
Do I know what a phase spider is?
It's not a spider though. You're
Oh, it's
100% certain it's not a spider because it has way too many legs. And it's doing kind of that weird thing that the thing that you guys fought at the campsite did, where it like is darting and then like all of a sudden it'll like
Logan.
rotate and would be like upside down, but the joints just seem to like spring the other way all of a sudden, as if its legs can bend backwards.
So I imagine Emma.
Hi, Logan.
Hey,
Hello, Logan.
hello.
So I imagine
You're muted.
Emma starts to like.
It's been a morning.
You good?
Yeah,
I
hey,
just-
you good, man?
My car at work. So I decided it was time for me to take my lunch break.
Is it
Like
busy?
Yes, very busy.
No bueno.
Oh, bueno.
How long you got a break for?
I've got an hour.
Oh, nice. Well, just to set the scene with you, you guys have just piled into the carriage of Davalor Detlev that's pulled by the Four Nightmares, and have been going probably now for about 20 minutes, about 5 minutes outside of Bright Hollow, through the curtained windows, which you cannot see out. You just notice that the light diminished significantly, as if the day had suddenly become very overcast. And then in conversation about 15 minutes later, Devalor Detlev makes the admission that you are traveling through the border ethereal.
So many people, such powerful magic lately. All right. I think Xanthion's just hanging back, waiting for everyone else. See what they're doing.
Cool.
Emma, so like Petra asks about the goose, and then Emma like starts to like gets excited, starts to turn, and then like out of the corner of her eye, she spots that, she just like stops and like looks back.
And you stop and you look back and you notice this thing, and then right by the window of the carriage, you come past and you are face to face with just a split second with one of those things that you fought in the campsite with the forearms that come out. And it's like you just see it, and there's like this split second where you make eye contact. And I mean, like literally just the other side of the window, to the point where this thing almost got barreled over by the steeds. And it's just like, and then it's gone. But you know that's what it was.
Did you see that?
No, what did you see, Emma?
The thing. Do you remember that thing?
Oh, totally. Yep, that
The
thing.
thing we fought that
Yep.
Right, so
at a campsite.
Oh, yeah, we fought a lot of things. Okay. Yeah, you saw that? Oh, shit.
I think I might be seeing a lot of them.
At this point, Devalor, who has just started to fish the book back out of his cloak pocket, is like, well, I can tell you, traveling in this way, I have seen no shortage of bizarre new things, but I can assure you,
Emma,
they stay
Emma,
away
like-
from the horses.
Well, that one was right outside the window.
Well, yes, but is it still there?
No.
That's
Is
my
it in-
point.
Is it in the cab?
No.
Obviously not.
There we
I
go.
unders-
Problem.
I
problem's all right.
I understand your feelings of apprehension, Emma. And normally I would offer you wine because that's what I was offered when I was anxious and sad and happy and angry. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's
she's
gonna be fine.
well, don't do that.
It's gonna be fine. If it comes back, I'll scratch it.
Cat scratch fever.
Why don't we just close the curtains? And she tries to like reach over and, close them. And says, "Here, hold my goose." She needs a
Emma
name.
just kind of like she sits there for a moment, and like she holds the goose as the Petro closes the curtain. Emma's gonna sit there and pet the goose, but like when no one's looking, she's gonna open the curtain back just a little bit.
This goose is drunk, yo. I mean,
What
this
the
drunk.
fuck?
This
He
goose is
loves
like
wine.
toe up.
Wait, Petra
This is-
had
Yeah, Petra has a goose under her arm.
What?
Petra bought a pet attack goose. He protect, he attack, and most of all, he quack.
Emma just looks at the
amazing.
goose and is like,
Improv.
Emma looks at the goose and is like half like debating whether or not to lesser restoration it.
It seems really happy.
Just gonna like pet the goose.
I think the goose's name should be Kitty.
Speaking of which, is Ned in here with you?
No, we didn't say he was when he. I was just letting him do his thing. So
Ned's
I'll
back
just-
in Bright Hollow, like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, it's not like he can't be right by Titus at a
yeah,
moment's notice.
he's just right there with me, just sitting there.
Like has been the whole time, or you just pop him in right now?
Has been the whole time. Just being
Okay.
very quiet.
Oh no.
So this
conflict.
whole time, you guys just, well, no, Titus, you specifically just like notice, like, as the ride has progressed, the hackles on Ned have just gotten like more and more raised, and he's doing that thing where he's just like going down further and further to the ground, and just like the tail is just like swish, 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 swish.
Is he eyeballing the goose?
No,
Oh.
he's just kind of like, actually his like eyes are like slits, like he's just like that thing where it's like a cat wants you to think it's asleep, but it's actually just
Ready
not.
to fight.
Yeah,
Plotting.
that's the very much. It's like he's like getting down as if he was ready to pounce at something, and every now and then you can just hear.
I don't want to be here either, Ned.
You just hear in your mind, I don't like these things.
The horses?
Yeah,
I don't either.
they're
but-
not horses.
Well, I know they're not horses, but I don't think we have a choice right now.
That's all psychic conversation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all telepathic. He's like, did you notice the way they reacted when Felix tried to take the groomsman seat?
Oh yeah, I did. I mean,
Yeah.
would you want to be steered?
And Ned just kind of looks up at you, and it's like that slow rotation.
Shut
and,
up.
Like, meets your eyes. He's like,
I tried my best to give you freedom.
he's like, it's not because he was trying to sit there. It's because of who he is.
Oh yeah, that's probably a pretty good point. Pretty good point.
Actually,
Let's not dwell on it though. I mean, we're trying to get somewhere with as least amount of conflict as possible.
actually, birds of a feather and all that. And he just kind of slinks his way up onto Titus's lap and just like curls up in a ball and just like rests his head on Felix's lap, and just kind of rests his head on Felix's thigh, and just like looks up at you with those like big eyes. And it's like, roll me an insight check. Felix, sorry, roll me an insight check. A, B, C. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this cat is. This
Perfect
cat.
song.
This cat is really friendly. That's all you get.
So I just say in Celestial because I know he's a familiar.
Oh, true enough. True enough. That's right.
So I just say in Celestial, I know, buddy. I don't like this either.
And it's just like a big sigh as like you just feel some of the tension just kind of like melt out of the cat's body as it like nestles up into your lap, and for the first time since getting in this carriage actually feels comfortable.
I just pet the cat, drink my wine. I look like a Bond villain.
You kind of do, actually, yeah.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
After a while, actually you do elicit a few purrs out of him.
Excellent.
And this whole time, all of you just notice like Natari in the corner, just kind of like his body language is just getting like more and more like tight and closed off, and like just very much into his own head, you can tell.
Natari, would you like some wine?
No, thank you. I'm fine.
Just gonna keep pouting over there.
I'm still pissed that out of familiars, I got fucking okay. Titus gets this cool little celestial cat, and I get the creepiest little fucker to ever live.
And this is the difference between getting your familiar as a wizard and as a warlock.
Fair
Amazing.
point.
Fair point.
I'm glad you're making use of your gift.
So anyway, and Dave Valor, just kind of going back to his reading, this is please, if there's anything else that I can do to answer any of your questions, just let me know. But this is going to be a very long carriage ride. The horses do not like to stop.
They apparently
Keep
don't like
reading.
to take orders either.
Oh, I don't pretend to be their groomsman. They are very much in charge of this carriage.
You don't like to take orders either, Felix, so.
Well, as opposed to being an infernal in the body of a horse, I'm just a person, so a little different.
And at this point, Dave Valor just pipes up and just says, over his book, just says, Pegasus, actually.
Whatever. 4 legs, really big, like to pull things. Meh. Stick a carrot on its head, it's a unicorn.
He just kind of, you see Dave Valor like trying to suppress the grin, but he lets a chuckle out anyways. And just goes back to his book and says, if you need me, just let me know.
Oh, before he goes back to his book, Petra says, what are you reading?
He's like, and it's like, if you need anything, let me know. Well, actually, and he's just like, puts the ribbon back in and shuts the book and tucks it away. He's like, elementary reader, just trying to brush up on my fluency in other languages.
Can I see it?
I'd rather you not.
Which language?
Is it because you're lying?
Can I?
Is it your
is there
diary?
like-
Roll, anybody who wants it, roll me an insight check.
Come on, redemption. Let's do better than a 3.
Ooh.
Oh, it's a nat 20.
It's another nat 20. I got 22 total.
Just 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
Wow, 2 nat 20s.
Sorry, thought that Jody was yelling for me, but she was yelling for Lily. So
That was
good deal.
Very quick.
Yeah. So, Felix, you particularly, Petra with a 15, you get a good read on him too. Titus with a 12, nah. Yeah, he's real defensive about this book, which I mean, obviously you got from my role play, but there's something there about like he doesn't want you to see this book.
Is
And
there a cover on the book?
plain leather cover, black leather.
Oh, come on, Mr. Detlef. We're all gonna be stuck in this carriage. Might as well not be so cloak and dagger. As I'm petting Ned.
No,
I'm just
Mr.
curious,
Detlef,
is
I
all.
expect you to
Wish we
die.
could die.
Look, I am here as your emissary for the madam, and please, in any regard that I can fulfill that duty, I will answer any questions you have. But my affairs are my affairs. I would expect to be extended that courtesy.
Absolutely. I apologize. It was just mere curiosity.
Oh no offense taken.
Never mind.
Oh, sorry, Logan. I didn't even hear you. What were you
I
saying?
wanted to take the book, but then I thought about it and I take it back. I don't want to do that.
Oh, okay. Point of order. Sorry, the carriage is huge, twice as big as a normal carriage. Like normal carriage is like bench seat facing each other. In the like this is 2 of those, so that the center bench faces backwards and then the other side faces forwards. You are on the very farthest front, and he is on the very farthest back. So you actually have 4 people and a bench that faces both ways in between you. So you wouldn't even be able to make the attempt. Just to give you idea of the layout here. It's like, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be brusque about it, but
Oh, we're strangers and you shouldn't trust us, believe me. I'm a terrible thief, but I've admitted it to you now. So obviously I'm not going to steal it. I respect you,
you're
sir.
actually quite a decent thief.
Unless you're telling him that to make him drop his guard.
Oh, Titus just kind of starts giggling. Oh my god, as he's like writing in his book.
Dave
I'm
Lord
sorry.
just
I kept you
says,
from your book.
you are certainly a colorful group of individuals. I think you will bring a certain joie de vivre to the soiree. I can't wait to see. Tell me, what type of act do you perform?
Music, of course.
Excellent.
They've been like I said, we've been practicing for weeks. Each of
We're
them have. What'd you say?
We're a traveling improv group. That's what we are.
Excellent. Well, that is fantastic. A variety then of acts, you would say. Master Half Elf?
Something like that.
Excellent.
Even the cat has some amazing feats to perform at this party, right,
Oh,
Ned?
Animal acts. I love animal acts.
Felix says in Celestial to the cat. Oh boy.
Did he really physically perk up to animal
Yes,
acts?
no, that's literally what he did. Yes.
Awesome.
Oh
And
boy.
as soon as I give my goose a name, of course, she's going to be a part of it as well.
Oh,
But
fantastic.
he's
I
still
love
waiting.
animals.
Maybe Cranberry?
Well, I mean, if I were going to name a goose, I'd name it Duck.
Or so it's a Simpsons.
But we name it Duck Duck. the
Yes,
goose.
exactly. Duck, Duck the goose. I love it. Fantastic.
Emma, do you have any objections to Duck Duck?
No.
Do you still want to name it? You can name it. I'll just get another one.
I can't think of anything at the moment.
Okay, we'll go with Duck Duck for now then. Duck Duck.
And
Goose.
like I imagine it's still every moment like somebody's not looking at her. Emma's looking out the little sliver of curtain.
Roll me another perception check.
It's, 17. Yeah. So it's 19.
Now that you have now that your eyes have acclimated a little bit to this, almost like when you go into a dark room and you just have to wait for your eyes to catch up. Now that you're used to looking through this fog, it is rare that 5 minutes passes without seeing some bizarrity out scrambling in the distance of the countryside. Like nothing coming close to the carriage, but there's a lot of stuff out there. Well, just let me know if there is anything else I can do for you, but really do expect to sleep in the carriage while we move. We should be at the manor sometime probably tomorrow.
Wonderful. Enjoy your reading.
Thank you, Miss Petra. Lady Petra? Miss Petra? What do you prefer? What is your appellative of choice?
Just call me Petra.
How delightfully
I
informal.
am neither a lady nor a miss.
And just because I am
Well, I would say you carry yourself with quite a level of grace and distinction. I would certainly say lady is deserved.
Well, thank you.
and just so that I have it all straight, and he looks over next to him, which would actually be, well, let's see how everybody else is arranged. Well, actually, yeah, we'll just go from the bottom of my screen up. And he just says, Master Tortle, just so that I know how to address you, how would you like to be addressed, sir?
Morlo.
Simply Morlo. Wonderful. And what is your act, if I may ask?
My act.
Yes, your performance?
You will see.
Chomping.
Ooh, mystery. I like it. And then you, sir. Looking at you, Felix.
Oh.
Of course.
Oh, I'm just the accountant.
Well, does the accountant have a name?
Felix.
Felix. Just Felix, not Mr. or Lord or...
Felix Septim.
Just Felix Septim. Excellent. You, young lady.
Yes. Just Emma.
Emma. Wonderful.
Or Nugget.
Aw, that's very cute. You, sir. Looking at you, Titus.
I go by Nicholas.
Nicholas. Wonderful. You there, the half-elf gentleman.
Xanthion.
Xanthion. Wonderful. Just Xanthion. No Mr. or Sir or...
Just Xanthion.
Wonderful. And you, Father. And Natari just looks up and is like, it's just Natari. No. We're all on first name basis. Well, please feel free to call me Davalor then.
Thank you, Davalor.
And goes back to
Sure
his
thing.
reading.
Sure thing, Mr. Detlef.
He just like glances up from his book, just giving you like that, like,
He's a sassy accountant.
I'm an accountant. How's your
Thank you
Pornhub
for
going?
catching on to that.
How's your Pornhub going? Oh.
Emma's gonna actually, she's gonna like tear her eyes away from the window because nothing seems to be happening other than just spooky shit that she can't do anything about.
mm-hmm.
And she's gonna lean over to Titus and just kind of like look over his shoulder as he's doing his like transcribing over spells.
Once I notice that's what she's doing, I'm gonna start explaining out loud what this part does and why I'm undoing this.
Okay, cool.
Like I think every now and then Emma would kind of compare it to like she'd talk to him and compare it to her own warlock or druid magic. Be like, this is different, weird.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's just, I mean, as a druid / warlock, just the idea of it being written down is bizarre to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how to scribe a spell scroll of any spell that you can cast, so you would know it in that regard, but just the idea of that being the way you do all of your magic is bizarre. Especially when you look it over and you realize like what is going into his book is nothing like a spell scroll where the magic is actually like permeating into the written word on the page, and this is just like random like notes, like somebody very much like studying for a test or just like scribbling stuff, just like E = MC squared out over here, like working out like quadratic equations and stuff, and you're just like,
now, can I tell like what some of the spells are?
roll me an Arcana check.
Nope, that's a 5.
Nope, it's all gobbledygook to you.
All right.
And the carriage rolls on.
And there's no other classes in our group that could benefit from these spell books, are there?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-mm.
As soon as Detlef gets back to his book, Petra wants to chime in meekly and say, "I'm sorry to bother you again. Is there any food here, any snacks while we're on the road or foggy ethereal plane, as you will?"
Yes. Hungry, are we?
Little famished.
Of course.
I promise I won't bother you again.
Puts the book away again. And then reaches down actually underneath where Morlo, who is sitting beside of him, reaches under his legs because the drinkware is under his own seat. So next to him, under Morlo's seat, he pulls out the drawer, and there you see a variety of neatly wrapped little bundles wrapped in cloth with twine. And he just brings one out and just like hands it over to you.
Many, many thanks. I get a little cranky when I'm hungry.
Oh, don't we all? Okay, then. And then he goes back to his book. You unwrap it, and it is like a little bit of like hard cheese, like a dried like cracker type bread, some dried fruit, just a little assortment. Your in-flight snack.
Did I see how many other ones were in that drawer?
It's full to the brim. Yep.
Petra's
More
gonna
than
be-
enough for everybody.
Emma, as soon as Emma sees the food, just mage hand bringing food to her.
Yep. So it's like Davalor shuts the drawer and then goes back to his book, and then immediately you see an immaterial hand materialize, pull the drawer open, grab one, and just hover through the carriage bringing it to Emma.
I think actually, could Emma's mage hand be like, instead of an actual hand, it'd just be vines?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's still gonna
Cool.
look like a hand, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
completely made out of vines, like the Green Man's hand, just like.
While Petra is eating her snack, she's making those little cat noises that they sometimes make when they're eating, like the little hummy sound, like the yeah. Unknowingly, she's not trying to be a nuisance this time. It's
Our cat
completely
will
by
try to
accident.
do a full-on meow while it's got a mouthful of food. It's
Little cat omnoms.
Anything anybody wants to do, or are we just gonna pass some time on the carriage ride?
I think Emma's gonna go back to her alchemy, seeing that she'll probably have time to make another, because she has enough ingredients to make 5 more potions of healing. So I think she's gonna work on another batch of 3.
Petra is eating and drinking and being merry.
And from there, I'm ready to pass time.
Felix is petting Ned so long as he's on his lap.
You find that Ned would. There's nowhere else that Ned would rather be than nestled up to you for some reason.
Xanthion passes right out.
Okay. Yeah. Pretty soon, Xanthion is open mouth snoring, just like.
Petra's gonna try to start throwing some of her snack items into his open mouth
Nice.
while he snores.
Roll a dexterity check. Yep. You're just nailing it, like little raisins right into the mouth. One actually eventually goes too far back in, and he's just like.
Petra plays it cool, pretends like she wasn't doing anything.
And then semi-conscious Xanthion just kind of like chews up the raisin and goes back to sleep.
We're gonna get out of this. We're gonna get out of this coach or whatever you want to call it, and Xanthion's gonna be like, "Oh, I gotta use the bathroom." No, Petra, those weren't raisins; those were prunes.
There's just gonna be the pile of food sticking out of his open mouth. Like there's this one like sitting right here on his eye because Petra missed.
Mm-hmm. Can Petra possibly, just throwing this out there, use prestidigitation to like draw on his face while he's sleeping?
Sure.
Okay.
What is it you're wanting to draw?
She's just gonna write Xanadu on his forehead and 2 hearts on his cheeks.
Roll me. Even though you're using magic to do this, he would still have some sense that it was happening to him because he could feel it. So roll me a sleight of hand check. Yep. Just kind of like every now and then he kind of like swats at his face like he feels a bug on him or something like this. But yep, the deed is done. You do see Dave Allure just kind of like glance up from the book and just be.
Petra goes back to snacking.
Although you cannot tell by the light source because everything is a static, monochromatic, dull glow in the border ethereal. Afternoon progresses into evening into early night. Round about what would be considered dinner time. Felix, where'd you go? Where you at, buddy? Felix.
He ran away.
Hello.
As you're sitting there, just absentmindedly stroking the cat, a voice enters your mind.
Sorry, Aaron and I have the same face for that.
As you sit there absent-mindedly stroking the cat.
Yeah, I'm the one who needs to get my mind out of the gutter.
Perverted people. How
I-
do you do it?
I love you.
Hey, we're more fun, damn it.
So a voice comes into your mind, a familiar voice. It says, "Brother, are you well?" I expected a reply. I'm sure this news startles you, but the Conclave simply cannot abide someone who would do that.
I didn't know that you expected a reply. Currently traveling through the ethereal on the way to Varine Manor. We'll keep you up to date. Bye.
Bye.
Felix just kind of looks at Ned. I don't want to deal with that. Yeah, something like that.
Aw.
Why is this song
be
on
right back.
repeat? Okay. Oh, oops. I shouldn't have those set to repeat. Okay. Let me see what he's got. Oh yeah, he's good. It's a couple of seconds pass. Varine Manor.
Did he roll to see if it went through?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he did the first time. You ruled stickler, but yes, he did. Varine Manor. My goodness, you're making some interesting friends. Well, we can handle the bulk of this. Just let me know if you can help.
I'm not quite sure what you mean by the bulk of this. I'm a little indisposed at the moment. Could you be more overtly specific? Thanks.
A few seconds pass.
That one telemarketer who just won't leave you alone.
Yep, this one goes through as well. The Conclave will handle filing the charges. We'll handle the removal from office. We'll handle your ascension. All you have to do is testify.
Lacacious, I love you like a brother. Lacacious, I love you like a brother. But with all due respect, the conclave, the conclave, there we go. Going from counting words to counting syllables.
It's 25 syllables. You can actually be cut off mid-word.
So, 14, the conclave, has no say in the ascension. That decision lies with them. Yeah, that's it.
No further response. Any
more wine? Titus, do you have any wine? Petra, any wine? Mr. Broody McBookface, do you have any wine?
I'm sorry, Felix, but I've never drunk a day in my life.
Shame. And Petra pulls out a wine bottle from wherever she stores those and is snacking with one hand and just shoves it towards Felix with the other.
Thank you. I'm sorry about the nickname. Cheers.
I do sincerely apologize if I'm coming off as broody. I just thought that you might enjoy some time to unwind after the festivities of the fest.
This one doesn't unwind at all, so he's fine. And she points over to Felix.
What do you expect from the accountant? Because you hemorrhage money like a leaky sieve.
I do have to say that he unwinded quite a lot. I believe I remember seeing him dancing on a bar.
I believe the term is unwound, but yes.
Brother, just keep drinking your wine, please. We'd like you a little more bearable than this.
Well, fuck you too, then.
Always a pleasure.
From the front of the coach or carriage, whatever you want to call it, you just all of a sudden cutting through the conversation, you hear Natari's voice. He's like, "Can you let me out, please?" Dave Lord at this point just looks up from his book like, "No, I'm really afraid that I would not be able to do that, and it would be exceptionally ill-advised at this point. Perhaps once we return to the Prime."
Natari, what's the matter?
I don't want to put you in any more danger than I already have. And here they wouldn't be able to find me.
Here you be torn to ribbons by whatever's lurking around out there. I would much prefer to have you alive.
And I mean, if we're going to be competitive about, who's in the most danger here, well, let's start counting the ways, shall we? We all share in our own dangers, Natari, so quit your brooding and have some wine.
Yeah, because I think at this moment, currently Titus might hold that spot. No offense, but is what
Unless
it is.
you want to tell us.
I've been on the run for a long time. And I'm the only one left from the Lapisades Monastery.
Does that sound familiar at all?
Roll me a history check.
Okay. History, not religion.
With an 18 and with Titus with the 18, Felix definitely with the 22. Titus, it sounds familiar to you. Felix, you are 100% sure that you have heard of the Lapisades. It is a monastery of the Church of the Blessed Mother. You don't know where it is because all of the monasteries of the Church of the Blessed Mother are in secret locations. But the monasteries of the Church of the Blessed Mother are established to either protect something or to evangelize.
So I assume the Lapisades?
Lapisades. Lapisaedes.
Okay, I couldn't tell if it was a B or a P. So I take it the Lapisade Monastery was established to protect that book?
Yes.
How long ago? Oh.
And I'm the last.
How long ago was this?
Three years now.
Well, I don't see any point in giving up now. Plus,
You
giving
got
up.
plenty of. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's all right. But giving up's never really been your thing, Natari.
There's plenty of people here that will share in your danger. We're a crew, so get used to it. We're
Yeah.
not letting you out of the carriage.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. That's suicide, and possibly death for the rest of us too.
I mean, if you want to fight me about it, we can, but I'd rather not. I have to keep my face fresh for our performance.
They're going to keep coming. Now that they found me. These people don't stop.
Well, neither do we.
Well, we've known each other for about, what, 2 weeks now? And we've already gained so much in the way of power. What's a couple more days, if not a couple more months? Soon before too long, they won't be powerful enough to stop you. And at some point, we can turn them on their heels and take the fight to them.
And then Morlo can just bite everyone's heads off.
Now, mind you, I wasn't there for, the case of spontaneous combustion, but from the conversation that you had prior to, individuals like that I really would hate to just let win.
And at the mention of Morlo's name, Scott, you see Natari, you are on opposite ends of this exceptionally long carriage. So like 10, 15 feet away from each other. But you just see Natari make eye contact with you from the other side of the carriage, and this just deep look of remorse comes over his face, and he just says, "I'm sorry, Morlo, you're the first person I met. I should have filled you in from the beginning and let you know what kind of danger I was bringing you into."
I had an idea when I saw what came from the pipe when you smoked it.
Yeah. I don't like talking about my past too much.
Well,
But
none of us do.
And I like talking about myself. Trust me. But
Just
not
not
my
her past. Likewise. It's all right. We understand. I apologize to cut you off, but I just want to make sure that we're getting clear. Leaving. It's not you.
No, but running is. And that's all that I know now.
Okay, well then run with us. And then eventually we'll run right at them. That'll be a surprise, won't it? Oh, what? I mean, they can't all have necklace of fireballs, right?
No, but these
Just
are
carry
bad
extra
people.
water with us. Oops.
Like these are really, really bad people.
So are we.
And we're really dangerous people. And, children as well. But we're very dangerous. They're bad. We're dangerous.
I'm still a person.
I wondered if anyone's going to catch on to that.
Sorry, Natari, but you're stuck with us. And I just realized sorry and Natari rhyme. And I need to make a song about it now.
Arts.
Natari, if
Yeah.
you don't mind, who's sitting next to me, actually?
Let me think here, because it's on the far front. It is Natari and Xanthion. Then it would be
So towards the horses,
and then it would be Titus and Emma. So yeah, you would have to be beside Petra.
Jin, you
wonderful.
need a battle map for the carriage.
Dude,
Yeah,
I tried to find one. I could not find a battle map for the inside of a carriage. I could draw something up and just put your
you remember that
tokens on it.
I gave you access to the dungeon fog.
And I ran out of time. I was actually going to draw one on Dungeon Fog, but then it was like the day before the session, and I'm just like, we can just theater of the mind this.
Okay. I just want to make sure you remember that you had access to it.
Unless you guys are going to like throw down with each other, we'll just make it work. Also, Ben, check Facebook Messenger, please.
So who is sitting next to Natari?
Natari is Xanthion.
And they're facing us, Petra and I, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Lean in. Would it be possible to take a look at this book? Or is there some sort of religious obligation that prevents that? If so, I completely understand.
During this whole conversation, I'm going to kind of be keeping an eye on our guy that's escorting us, just on trying to figure out how he's feeling. Well, I know he's listening. He has to be.
Roll me an insight check, Titus.
God.
So what was Natari's response?
I'll get to that in just a second. Okay.
I didn't know if you did or not.
What? Can we?
He's stone-faced.
Okay.
Davalor is stone-faced. Like, he does not seem to be... The impression that you get is this is a person who has been in the room when very delicate and very private conversations have been had before, and it is his job to not hear anything that is being said, so to speak. That's the impression you get from him. Isaac, go ahead.
Can we rewind here? I'm pretty sure I missed some stuff. Missed a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, what's up?
Make a sandwich.
Oh, gotcha. Natari just apologized for getting everybody in danger. Basically.
Oh.
And actually, Natari actually asked for the carriage to stop and to let him out.
What? That sounds like a terrible idea.
That was the general consensus of the group as well. Yes.
What does who's the people that are after him?
The Afflicted Communion. You've heard them referred to as the Afflicted Communion. Emma has no idea who that is. All right. Christian, if you can hear. Oh, sorry. Isaac, I thought you were done. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Does the Blessed Mother have any, like, correspondent to the pantheon that Emma would be aware of from her world?
Yeah, actually. Hold on just 1 second. Yep. Sorry, I had to look it up. There is a goddess in your pantheon. Since we're doing a lore dump, I might as well also let you know Erethnir is a god in your pantheon. The years are the ages of your world are reckoned by ages of the individual gods of the pantheon, and you just go down the pantheon. Okay. Erethnir is one of the gods, but the god that would be the closest to the Blessed Mother, from what you can tell, her name is Alana. Alaana.
What do I know about Alana?
Alana is the goddess of vitality, rebirth, renewal, health, just your basic life domain cleric goddess.
Okay. And the one god of I forgot what it was called. The god of nature. In this world, is there one in Emma's pantheon?
A god of nature would be, hold on.
I'm gonna go get me some nicotine. I'll be back.
All right, cool. Obadiah.
Obadiah?
Obadiah.
Oh, but I forgot to do this, eh?
Yep. Right. Okay. So Natari just kind of like I've just kept it hidden for so long since I left the Lapisades. And he reaches down into his pouch. He shuffles around for a little bit. He brings out this rectangular bundle wrapped in cloth, tied with a string. And he just hands it toward you, Felix. And then for a second, he pulls it away and then stops himself and he just hands it over.
Before Felix grabs it, he looks at him and goes, "Do you understand what I'm meaning by this?" I will keep the book on me as I study it to understand why they want it.
And then Natari puts his hand up. He's like, you can look at it, but the book stays with me.
All right. I take the book from him.
You take it. As soon as you have the book, remember the Ned is in your lap. So how are you negotiating the book with a cat in your lap?
I just say to Ned and Celestial, "Ned, dear, I'm sorry. You're going to have to move for a second."
And just looks up at you, just kind of like
Get on my shoulders if you would like.
eyed. And then looks, and the eyes come to rest on this bundle of cloth in your hands. And you just hear, and just jumps over the seat and back toward Titus.
Oh, dang, he's not back yet. Well, I was going to ask him if Ned said anything.
We will retcon that. Just keep going.
Okay.
Upon seeing
So-
Ned, can Eva wants to pet the cat.
Oh yeah, she comes and curls up in your lap instead.
Okay.
Because you're the next best thing to somebody who actually has celestial heritage.
Yeah, so Emma's sitting here with the cat in her lap while doing this stuff, like reaching out.
This potion of healing has a hair in it.
So I put my hands on the cloth bundle.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get a feel of it? Like, is it emanating something, considering that Ned reacted so vocally?
Nothing that you can tell. Just like obviously a wrapped book. The book is wrapped. Oh, Ben's back.
Wait.
Okay, so he can't hear us. Hi, Ben. I love you. Oh, hi, Ben.
I love
So-
you too.
Oh,
Natari hands Natari hands Felix the book.
Okay.
Felix looks down at Ned and says something in Celestial, which you do not speak, correct?
No.
Okay, so something, just this language that Felix speaks that you don't understand. Ned looks up at Felix, kind of like that bleary-eyed cat-like look of like, you're actually going to try to move me right now. And then eyes fall on the book that is wrapped in cloth in Felix's hand, and the hackles immediately raise, and you hear the and Ned just goes jumping over the other side of the bench and curls up on Emma's lap instead.
Okay.
Titus, did Ned say anything?
You heard the same thing I did. The rawr. He does not like the book.
Can you ask him why?
Ned, are you okay? What's wrong with the book? I mean, other than, it brings on doom and destruction. Is there anything else?
And as Ned is like circling around like the 3 times before he can lay down in Emma's lap, as all cats have to do, you just hear Ned's voice like, no, pretty much just the doom and the destruction, and then curls up and goes back to sleep.
He doesn't
Oh.
like what the book could possibly do if used wrong.
Hello?
One
Hold-
Thank you, Ned.
Hey guys,
Thank
take
you,
5.
Ned.
I will be right
Thank
back.
you, 5.
thank you, 5.
You're muted, Logan.
After the 5, I'll be returning to work, so I'll hop off. Have a good session, you guys.
You too.
Thank you,
See
Logan. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't know if opening the book is a good idea there, Christian.
Well, we haven't even uncovered the book. Like it's still in
Okay.
the swaddle.
Rewind. What the fuck is this book?
The
'Cause-
book is something that his mentor gave to him
Mm-hmm.
before pushing him out a window, and the last sight that Natari had of him was his mentor getting cut down. And the Afflicted Communion wants the book because apparently it's a way to bring or free the Mother of Woe.
Oh. Yeah, that's
I
great.
have my suspicions of what the book actually is.
Is it a book of vile?
Vile Darkness, possibly. That's the
God.
only thing I can think of. But we've got to play it out and see what Shannon says about the cover of the book or the effect of the book on the person who looks at it.
Oh God!
We might need a battle map.
Felix goes absolutely bonkers.
Should Petra not peek over his shoulder at the book then?
Probably
When he
not.
reads it?
Probably
The
not.
thought of all this time that Charles just carrying around a book of vile dark or
the book of Vile Darkness. It's like all of a sudden Petra and Felix's eyes just go like glazed over and they look up in unison and say in unison, "Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it." It is not the book of Vile Darkness, it's the book of Corporate Darkness. Big difference. Acquisitions Incorporated, everybody.
God.
Which, if no one has ever looked at the Acquisitions Incorporated book, that is so fun. It is just so cheesy and so goofy. It's basically running.
Isn't there a part where you get shrunk and you have to avoid a cat?
Yeah, if I remember correctly. But basically, the premise of the whole thing is like, everyone knows the Adventures of Legend and the great daring heroes or the whatever. And this is like, what if somebody took adventuring and made it into a business? So Acquisitions Incorporated is quite literally just a corporation that hires adventurers to go out and acquire things. It's also really good for DMs and trying to figure out how to pay for certain quests and missions.
Oh yeah. Well, if it is that, that's really bad.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I've got character sheets as backup, so if Felix goes bye-bye, the next thing you see, a man with strangely snake-like features walks up to you.
Yonty.
Pure blood.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you kind of want to read it when you look at it.
Yeah, like it pulls you in if you don't resist it.
Yeah.
I forget, is it supposed to be a wisdom save?
It also changes your alignment if you attune to it.
Uh-huh. It's no bueno. And then watch Shannon's just gonna be like, no, it's a book that somebody wrote down some old rituals in.
It's just a phone book, guys. Come on.
It's a DC 18.
Wisdom save?
Yeah, but is that DC every time you touch it? Or look at it?
Yeah, because there's also a bit where it's like, if you pass the first time, you can read it and not be affected, but then after so many hours of study, I think it's like after the first, you have to roll again, and then again. So the DC probably goes up the more you're exposed to it.
Oh wait, that was the wrong DC. That was for the command evil that you can do with it.
Oh. Felix commands evil. The horses stop.
DC 17 charisma saving throw. On a failed, the creature's alignment changes to neutral evil.
Oh, it's charisma. So Felix is actually the best person to take it. I got proficiency on charisma. I've also got favored by the gods in case something bad happens. It's not a definite, but it's better than nothing.
What's favored by the gods do?
Favored by the gods allows me to, if I fail an ability check or not an ability check, sorry. It's a saving throw or, where'd you go, you
I have my probability shift to help too, if we
Yeah,
need.
that'll help. Favored
It
by
says that it
God.
affects a person and people 5 feet within their range too.
Yeah. It's not
So
a
it
good.
doesn't matter if Petra looks at it or not.
Once per short rest, if you fail a saving throw or miss with an attack roll, you can roll 2d4 and add it to the total, possibly changing the outcome.
Well, that's if that's what it is. We might be assuming a lot here.
Like I said, Shannon could just literally come back and be like, "No, it's just an old book." Watch the pages. The pages are completely blank.
And Morlo saw when he gave Natari his pipe, he
The
saw
Dragon Warrior.
that's kind of like the one magic thing Morlo understands, and he saw that the fire and the book, and he knows it's important. He doesn't know exactly what, doesn't have a clue what it is, but he knows it's bad.
The Dragon Warrior. I was just thinking of Skyrim, the 2 books in the entire game that have nothing in them. The Journal of the Blind Guy in one of the bandit hideouts, and the book called The Book of Fate.
The true name of any number of friends might be in the book. Dark magic might be in the. It's just pretty much whatever the DM wants to be in that book.
Yeah.
I hope it's a comic.
It's got
Superman.
pictures.
Superman 48.
Oh my god, it's a pop-up book.
It's just a manga.
Believe it. Oh, close
We have to turn to the last page.
Black Butler.
Oh, God. Oh, Lordy. So, anybody else really happy that the sun is shining finally?
I might actually get to mow today when we're done,
It's
Christian.
too hot.
Nice. I say, quite literally, it's like Shrek in the second Shrek movie, where Donkey won't shut up and he just leans back and goes, "Will you shut up for 5 minutes?" That's the rain. Like, will you stop for 5 minutes? Let me mow my yard.
I'm like, Dad's just jamming out.
He's just vibing.
I do like the music. It sounds familiar. Probably because he just played it before.
Well, now that you got the book, we could just kind of put Natari out and see what happens.
Did you really just say put Natari out the pasture? God bless
Check
him.
him out.
Tari, you're our guinea pig. Let's throw you out and see what happens.
Oh, Jesus. God bless it.
I had to. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Sorry, not sorry.
Jim comes back. What happened to my character? We put him out the pasture. What?
We left him on another plane of existence. He's okay.
Yeah. That's pretty D&D right there. Like, I've thought of the multiple ways that our characters might die, and just being stranded in a different plane of existence has definitely come up.
Yeah.
I've also considered people, nuking themselves in order to like deal the killing blow on a bad guy. Or the even rarer, someone's character arc comes to completion and the character actually steps away. I think it's been longer than 5 minutes.
All right. So.
He was waiting for someone to say something like that.
All right.
Hey,
so,
Shannon.
Yes.
I meant to do it earlier, but could I have bought a disguise kit, mainly just a set of clothes?
I mean, yeah, it makes sense that you would want one
Okay.
with the recent events in in Emma's past.
All right.
So, yep, sure thing. All right, so
you're gonna appreciate the conversation when you go back and rewatch this.
I always do. So you untie the cord that is tied around the cloth and open it up, and you find inside a book about 12 inches wide by about 18 inches tall, a pretty decent sized tome.
Wow.
And the cover of it seems to be crafted from plates of black marble.
Oh, shh.
On the cover of the book, there is a circle of jetstones, 10 jetstones arranged in a circle.
Of the 10 gods.
With one larger jetstone in the center. And offset from that at about 7 o'clock, between the center jetstone and the circle of 10, another jetstone.
The Shadow Lord.
Nope, the Shadow Lord is one of the 10. That would be the wayward one.
The wayward one. There it is.
Felix, maybe I should identify that before.
Do it.
I hand it here. Just put my shit up for this spell I'm trying to copy.
Hey, you offered.
Kind of curse a little and then cast identify on it as a ritual.
Okay. So about 10 minutes pass. Any conversation to be had, or are you guys all just waiting?
It's a really pretty book.
Felix is just watching.
So 10 minutes pass. You cast identify. The book is it's not a magical item in the sense that there is anything that it does. It cannot be used. It does not have charges. The closest thing to what its purpose is would be like a spell scroll. But it is incredibly more powerful than a spell scroll. This is something that has the potential to reach through barriers and undo bindings that have been put in place by very powerful sources. But it can't be used by just anybody. You get the sense that this would be used in a very elaborate ritual and would only be of value to people who probably have already been instructed on how the ritual is to be performed, because the book does not impart that knowledge.
Well, Titus.
I convey all that over to them.
Yep.
Okay. I'll take it back.
Okay.
I open it up.
The inside is the inside pages are silk and written in a bizarre rust-colored ink. Roll me an Arcana check.
Unnatural 20.
Natural 20.
Unnatural.
So, yeah, sorry, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said
20.
I thought you said natural. Sorry.
All right, so unnatural 20. So you are extremely confident in your abilities as you are going through this, reading it over. The first thing that stands out to you with a result of 20 that is notable is that you still don't understand everything you're looking at.
Like the language, or
There is no language.
okay.
There are runes, there are formulae, there are various bits of like pictograms or calligraphy here and there throughout it that don't make any sense. The general sense that you get is that it is some sort of a conjuration to be used in an elaborate ritual. Also, elements of evocation. It doesn't make a lot of sense to you because it's like written in a, and as a sorcerer, you're not particularly accustomed to writing much down as far as like arcana formulae anyway, but this is something else. Like, this does not appear to have been written by a mortal hand necessarily. Like, this knowledge is being imparted from a source beyond mortal comprehension.
I keep looking through the book.
Yep. And so you're just flipping through. That's probably, 60, 80 pages long, all told, which makes it a relatively thick book because silk is considerably thicker than paper.
Right.
And by this point, you guys have been going for quite a while, and you're just kind of like reading through. Titus, do you go back to your spell transcribing?
No, I don't trust this book. I'm just keeping an eye on Felix.
So you're
as
keeping
he's
an eye
looking
on.
over as he's looking over the book.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure Titus knows that some books can really fuck with people, right?
What's your passive arcana?
17.
Yeah, you are aware that there are some incantations that are specifically activated by reading them, and that extends to some books that are too dangerous to read. The sense you get, Felix, is that not only is this exceptionally advanced magic, this is a different kind of magic. You're not exactly sure what you're looking at here. And the only time that you have seen something akin to this is when you were looking through the journal from the Tomb of Neomachius about how to construct the attempt to construct the zombies out of infusing the essence of a shadow into the physical form of a zombie. But this is completely different, but also alien.
Titus, do you have that journal from the tomb?
I have the journal for the medicine.
The one that speaks about creating the biters from shadows and the dead.
That was the tome that we found next to the cauldron, correct?
Yes.
You had that, sir.
Oh, did I have it?
Yep. And you gave it to Uxin
Bag
Pavel.
of holding.
That's right, I did. Damn.
And Uxin Pavel in turn gave it to Obed Valaxian.
That's right. That's right.
Petra's just going to be peeking over the shoulder at the book.
Roll me a perception check. Flipping through. You're just kind of annoyingly Petra perched like right over your shoulder. Actually, to the point where at this point, you're almost able to ignore it because you're so accustomed to her ways. He flips a page.
Pat her on the head.
Nothing on it that strikes his attention, flips the next page. As he flips the next page, you catch a glimpse of that bizarre elvish script that when you sound it out phonetically vaguely approximates deep speech, since deep speech itself has no written language.
Oh, okay. So she'll say that. Oh yeah, that's a thing. I know that. And she puts her paw on it, or her hand on his hand, to stop him from turning the page to look at it closer.
Turns the book
Yeah, go
towards
ahead.
her so she gets a better look at it.
And it's definitely not the whole page, but it's just like this one little formulae from what to you, Felix, just looked like gobbledygook written in elvish script.
No, that's Gingle book.
Nice. But yeah, no, it's definitely not the whole page, but it's just like this one little section makes sense to you in deep speech. It's like something about unlocking the doors that have been shut by inferior minds.
So she'll relay that to them. Sounds rather pretentious, don't you think?
A bit. Wait a second. In the story, the ten good gods, seal away the two, correct?
Specifically,
Mhm.
at the dawn of creation, the Mother of Woe immediately tried to destroy the world, literally as soon as it was created. The Blessed Mother and the Defender Queen together stood against the Mother of Woe to seal her away, to prevent her from destroying the world. 8 of the other gods joined with the Blessed Mother and the Defender Queen to do so. It was the Defender Queen and the Blessed Mother that initiated the call to arms for all the gods. All of the other gods answered that call except the Wayward One. But it was actually the Blessed Mother and the Defender Queen that actually did the binding with the support of the other gods.
Can Petra try comprehend languages on the rest of the page to see if she can figure it out?
Yeah, absolutely. So you cast comprehend languages. And then when you do so, it's like not everything makes sense. It's not like it immediately clicks into place. It's not like seeing the hidden sailboat in the 3D image at the end of Mallrats. It's more like, oh, wait, this little scribble in the corner, actually, that says something. Or like this over here, like whoever wrote this actually means something. You're not sure what language, because comprehend language doesn't tell you that. But what you find are little bits and pieces throughout this disheveled journal is really what this is, more so than anything else. Of
Different
like
handwriting?
little different handwriting, different parsing of sentences, obviously put to be together with people of different grammars, which would make sense with different languages. But like just all of this little thing about like, and some of it's very petty. Some of it's like, we will make them pay, brothers and sisters. Some of it is like, the darkness shall diminish the light, or the light shall be extinguished. We shall have our day. We shall rise again. Some of it is more complex. Some of it is like suggesting various material components. Somebody down at the bottom of one page writes over another purely alchemical formula that is not a language, but somebody below that writes, have we thought about trying the blood of a virgin, or like things like that. And on another page you find something that's just like, a captured soul might fulfill this need, or things like that. But it's all in a variety of different languages. And then through cast and comprehend languages, you realize this has been written by a number of different hands.
Well, she'll relay that information and say, it's written by a lot of different hands, and they all seem to be very angry at the light. So, don't know what that means, but
I'm gonna go. Petra, how long does that spell last for?
No.
An hour. Lasts for an hour.
Sorry.
Well, because Felix, I don't think would know that. Okay, well. Sort of slides it over to you. If you can parse out the bits that aren't just, death to the light and, we shall be victorious, that stuff. If you can find any indication of them having success, just call it out, and I'll write it down in my journal.
Okay.
Thank you. Wonderful. And I guess we'll do that.
Petra, roll me an investigation check. Okay. So over the course of the next hour, as it is now getting very close to about time to be bedding down for the night, we're probably pushing 10, 11 o'clock, maybe pushing midnight. Time
Is
is...
Zimma done with her potions?
No, because it was about 4 o'clock when you got in there. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. As we're pushing 11 o'clock, you're starting to get close, but you're not quite done yet.
Okay.
The bulk of the little scripts like that are just kind of like words of encouragement, like we shall be victorious. One day we shall bathe in their blood.
What wonderful encouragement.
They really like their blood.
Like down with the 10. We shall feast on the bones of the gods. That kind of stuff. Most of it is that sort of stuff.
Ambitious.
I think they're really pissed off at some gods. I wonder what they did.
You do get to one page toward the back, and the formula and the calculations that are being done, that just nonsense to you. Doesn't make a lick of sense. Doesn't make any sense from any magic that you've studied or anything like that. But off to the side, there is this one little chicken scratch. Looks like it was done by either very rushed or somebody of not particularly high intelligence. That sort of deal, where it's either they were just jotting it down to think, or somebody who just doesn't have particularly good penmanship. But it says, beyond the Grimalkin Ridge, ?
So yeah, she'll relay that too. Petra knows what that is, right?
Yep.
Okay.
The Grimalkin Ridge is this line. You guys are still on the map, right?
Mm-hmm.
This line of mountains right there that have been outlined in a green line. They were created during the Rivening. And they are I would say unofficial, but I mean, really, they are the official border between Trirexia and the Shadowlands. Because whatever happened during the Rivening to create them, everything inside of that ridge is just a barren wasteland. Everything outside of it is fertile and verdant and green.
So beyond the Grimalkin Ridge ? question mark might be a lead.
Felix starts to pen.
Well,
Wait
that's
a
all. That's all I got.
Wait a second. Foss. Didn't Foss mention something about the East?
Yeah.
I never had the pleasure of meeting him.
Uh,
Do you remember what he said? I don't.
I don't.
Does Morlo recall that, Shannon?
Morlo remembers a conversation that Foss had with him immediately afterward,
Okay.
where he admitted to Morlo that he had seen his son in a vision. And his son, Verdant, and his adopted orcish son, Verdant, spoke of a blindingly bright light to the far east.
Okay. So Morlo would remembering that would share that with the group.
Because I
wondering-
believe it was specifically Morlo that
Yeah.
Foss shared that information with
Oh,
underneath the tree
sorry.
while it was invisible.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry.
Yes.
Who's apologizing and for what?
Me, because Felix wouldn't have known that then.
No, because it was discussed after the fact. It was Felix would have known it because that had been discussed right after Foss died.
Okay. Okay. I was like, oh crap, my metagaming.
Narratively, it makes perfect sense. So continue.
The souls can see something. Grimolkin Ridge stands as a divide between verdant life and a barren wasteland. The map cuts off. A few miles east of Shalatar. And Yugoth?
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't it go further?
Maybe no one's ever been there before.
Wait a second. Sort of flipping back through. So I just sort of take it back through. We have to get to the east.
Right now? We're a little busy.
Not now, but soon. They won't expect, and they look up at Natari. They're going to expect you to be as far away from the east as possible, if that's where they're planning on going.
And you look up to Natari to say this, and you notice that Natari is, as you're looking up to say this to him, he reaches over and he pulls back the curtain and he's looking out the window. He just looks up into you and he says, "Why are we slowing down?" And once it brings that to your attention, you notice the carriage is gently losing speed.
I close the book and rewrap it.
And as you do, like Natari's hand darts forward toward you.
Take it.
And he tucks it away in his pack. And surely enough, slowly the carriage grinds to a halt.
I
Then-
look at the
Davalor, sorry, go ahead, Isaac.
yeah. I was looking at Davalor.
And actually, as you
Are
look to
you there
Davalor,
already?
you notice that he has started to nod off, and the book is kind of down on his lap, and he sits up and he's like, he hears you say, "Are we there already?" And he says, "No." And he pulls the curtain back, opens the window, leans out, comes immediately back in, shuts the window, pulls the curtain shut. "Stay here. I'll be right back." And he
What?
makes for the door, opens the door, closes it. And it's just the seven of you.
Emma immediately is going to do what she was thinking about earlier. I'm spending a Summoning it from druid, not warlock. I'm spinning a wild shape to bring forth an animal companion. An owl right outside and look through its eyes.
Okay. So like on top of the
Yeah.
coach?
Yeah. That'll work.
All right. Can you tip that ability over just so I can see the specific parameters of what you're able to do with it?
Basically you just cast find familiar through by using a wild shape, and it only lasts an hour.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Easy enough. So how about I show you what you see?
Oh God, that's somehow
God.
worse.
So
Playing with my unicorn.
you should really do that in private. Your owl, your animal companion, just comes into existence on the roof of the carriage, and you see through the fog of the border ethereal a small river running in the distance. The coach has stopped maybe 20, 30 feet this side of a bridge that
I don't see anything.
I'm getting to it. Just a
Okay.
second. Let me set the scene first in your mind there, dude.
Okay.
Use your mind power.
I'm scared of my mind powers.
About 20 or 30 feet away from a bridge that spans the river, you are stopped because of what stands on the other side of the bridge.
It's a troll.
A creature 10 feet
God.
tall with a head on its shoulders, squat as if it has been pushed down, with no neck, too little nose, too much teeth, large arms, more than two. As you watch as arms form out of the body of this, writhe for a moment and then sink back into its form, as other limbs come out of its sides, over its back, and faces forming along its chest, down its torso, as a face will form eyes and a nose and a mouth, and it will scream and moan before receding back in and becoming solid flesh. This creature looking like it should be corpulent and just soft and overbearingly overweight, but actually is solid. Just a solid hulk of flesh that changes and shifts, just standing there. A 10-foot behemoth staring down across as the...
Where's the carriage driver guy?
I can actually add him to the map. One moment, please.
I keep forgetting his name.
Dave
Starts with a
Allure.
D.
Dave
Dave
Allure.
Allure. I'm just gonna call him Dave.
Dave, the carriage driver.
I'll remember that
What's up,
better.
Dave? They are right here. Yeah, absolutely.
Dave Lord. Lord of Daves.
Lord of the Daves. Is that like Lord of the Dance? All right, back to this map. And yeah, I'll actually place him immediately there. So yeah,
How the fog moves. It's spooky.
and Dave Allure just walks up to alongside. Actually, he stays behind the nightmares looking forward. And this thing just stares looking back, and you do notice... Actually, no.
Can Morlo get out of the carriage as well?
You can certainly try.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Upon
Morlo-
seeing this, Emma's gonna be like, okay, this is whatever the fuck we're dealing with, and she's gonna make... Wait, do I have minor illusion still? I do not. I don't have any illusion spells. I'm out. I got rid of them all. There's something big outside across a bridge.
Is it food? Because I'm still hungry.
No,
Oh.
it's
And it just
scary.
stands there. Are you still looking through?
Yeah.
Okay, actually, yeah, you would not be able to respond to anything because if you're looking through its eyes, you're also hearing through its ears. But you can be relaying this without actually being able to interact with them. But yeah, you can zoom in and out of the familiar senses as you wish to.
I believe we need to see what. Oh well, I believe we need to see what the horses are going to do. The nightmares might be able to take care of this.
That's true. He did say that they tend to defend in case things get bad.
And then, where are you right now, Emma? Are you in the owl's head or are you in your own?
I'm gonna switch back to Emma. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's see. What's everybody's passive perception?
Actually, no, it's much better. 16.
13.
16?
Yeah,
Wow.
because the sentinel shield.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I'm 12.
Oh, 14, sorry.
So actually, Felix, yeah, out of everybody, you would hear first. You just hear Dave Lord Detlev from his muffled voice from outside of the wagon say, "Clear the way."
Felix heard something. Yay! He's gonna hold on, everyone. I think we're about to see the nightmares in action.
I want a front row seat.
Hearing that, Emma's gonna switch back to the owl and just watch.
Okay, so you
Felix.
watch, and since you are all inside, I'm actually. You know what? Why the heck not? They can do
Can
it.
Petra
if you guys
go
wanna
out and
see.
sit on the? Oh, sorry.
Well, I
Can
mean,
she
I
go
know
out?
Scott had mentioned about Morlo going outside, so yeah, if you want to try to go outside too, I mean,
Yeah, I want to get out just on the opposite side of Dave.
Petra just wants to climb up onto the roof of the thingy.
I love that his name is Dave.
His name is now officially Dave. It's a Dave move, Dave.
All right, so Morlo, you step out, and then Petra, you step out behind.
She wants to climb on the wagon on the roof to watch, if she can.
If she does that, she just sees an owl chilling there.
Yeah, it's like you actually start. You can see now from like this vantage point. There's just an owl chilling out on the top of the carriage.
We're gonna have a whole damn zoo pretty soon.
I imagine the owl just kind of like looks at her, nods, and hoots and turns back.
So Davalor looks back at the sound of the wagon door opening, and he immediately, as you guys watch Emma through the eyes of the owl, Morlo and Petra, because you are now outside, the leashings of the four nightmares, just as they had with Felix, just magically fall away, and they start to dart forward. Davalor just comes back with his hands up. He's like, no, please return to the carriage. It is our job to make sure that you are safe. We cannot take chances with the entertainment.
I am at the carriage.
In the carriage, please. With very much like a demeanor that like he is not open to negotiations on this. Doesn't mean that you have to do. Doesn't mean you have to comply, but yeah.
Yeah, Marlo's more curious to see what the horses will do than anything. So he'll get in the carriage, but like poke his head out the window.
Yeah, these windows do open, just so you guys know.
Okay, well then we're gonna do that.
But what
Petra's
about Petra?
Gonna lay on her tummy and put her hands underneath her chin.
Every time, okay, I just want to note that every time you said Dave poked his head out the window, I have expected, ever since like you told us we were in the border ethereal, I have expected him to like, he's just come back and there's no head.
It's a hereditary situation.
All right, so you guys watch as one by one the nightmares rush forward, and as they rush forward, they elevate into the air as the flames that are along their hooves just erupt into like a jet of fire, as if they are climbing a ramp of fire. And you watch as one by one they rush forward, neighing and whinnying and surrounding this creature and taking up position as they rush forward with their flaming hooves just starting to crash down into this hulking beast that at this point still has yet to move. And just as with each hoof clash into this creature's form, an explosion of fire. I need something a little bit more upbeat than this to narrate combat. All right.
That's the sound of the horthooves.
And they just explosions of fire as they sink their claws into the form of this thing. And as they do, faces again appear on its physical form, screaming in agony at being burned. But still, the creature moves not at all, obviously being assaulted, and these hits seemingly doing damage until all of a sudden, almost like an explosion, limbs just shoot out in all directions from this thing, grabbing hold of these various nightmares and slamming all four of them to the ground, knocking them from their perch on this pillar of fire on which they fly. And the nightmares, you hear them scream out and slowly, one by one, start to make their way back up. But then the creature again, with one gigantic muscular arm, just grabs one and just shoves it and slams it down in an attempt to break its spine. And you hear the nightmare's legs just splay out on all sides as it's crushed to the ground, and it screams. And one by one, the nightmares start to take flight again, elevating themselves out of harm's way from this creature, as the creature looking up at them and just ready now, finally engaged in this fight, no longer able, as they circle around about 25 feet in the air, and they just start to dive bomb as they just come down and just slash with their claws and then dive back up. And it reaches with an arm that just materializes out of the central form of its body, straight out of its chest, trying to claw at them, but just missing back up. And the thing just screams. This hulking behemoth just screams in frustration and then looks around, unable to attack any of the nightmares, and sets eyes on the carriage and starts to stomp its way toward you guys. The nightmares dive after it, and Davalor at this point makes a beeline back into the carriage. And he's like, okay, everybody get down, please. And he just like ducks and covers.
Morlo, we should probably get back inside now.
And Emma's just kind of like sitting there in an almost meditative pose.
Mm-hmm. Emma's eyes completely milk white, no pupils, no irises, as she looks through the eyes of her animal companion. And the nightmares seeing. Sorry, go ahead, Felix.
Felix is going to grab her and hold her tight and bunker down with her so she's safe.
Okay, Emma, you have no sense of that happening because
Yeah,
you are 100% within the mind of your owl. The nightmares.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
Oh,
I want to know what you guys are doing.
Petra's gonna nod to the owl and like try to swing back into the carriage.
Yep.
Before
you get in with no problem. Actually, before Davalor gets in, he's basically grabbing you and Morlo and like shoving you back into the carriage as well to make sure that you are safe.
Morlo got back inside and poked his head out, so he's already inside.
Right. 1 second.
Oh. Swoop.
And so this creature stomping its way across the bridge, the nightmares scream out in alarm as they realize their charge is to transport and defend this carriage. So they rush forward and come down to rest surrounding this thing, still in the air, as they take to the sky again with this bursting pillar of flame, which they use as a ramp to fly as they come through and start to surround it to prevent it from proceeding all the way. And Emma, are you narrating what you're seeing, or because you can speak but you can't listen to what they're telling you? I'm just wondering how much
I'm not
they
like
would be
going
aware.
like bit by bit, but I'm telling them like, if it looks like the horses are gonna lose,
Yeah. So something interesting at this point, as the nightmares come down to surround, and they are basically rotating like a cyclone of fire around this hulking behemoth of an aberration. On the back half of, actually about the center point of the bridge, you notice all of a sudden a figure appear. A young man dressed in robes holding a staff, in very much the accoutrement of a spellcaster. And he just pops into existence. And for a split second, you see this look of relief on his face as he materializes in the border ethereal. And then all of a sudden he looks around, looking straight up at this 10-foot behemoth, and he just screams as a nightmare comes rushing past him, its hoof planting into his chest as he is engulfed in roaring columns of fire and is entirely engulfed in flame.
God.
And then disappears
he
again.
Casted blink to get away, and he fucking got murdered.
Oh no! Oh no!
Does not reappear again.
We're seeing this from the other side.
You're horrible!
Emma, does the nightmares seem to need help?
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you say that, milky-eyed blank stare back.
Oh.
And with your arcana, you would know same thing exactly happens when you're looking through Ned.
Dave, do the horses need help, or are you just going to hide?
I don't think they need help. I've never seen them need help before. Meanwhile, outside.
The music's gone.
Yeah, it is gone. Why is it gone?
Have they ever fought anything like this before?
I mean, they fought giants before. It looked like a giant to me. I don't know.
This looks something far more sinister.
You mean giant as in the actual species of giant, or do you mean giant as in just very, very large?
Not an expert. Large boulder hurling 12 feet tall people.
Looks over at Dave Lore. Watch the child.
And so, meanwhile, while that conversation was taking place inside, the nightmares continue to circle around, and they continue their dive bomb attack. And the beast at the center of them, just as they dive bomb, just taking attacks at them, just gets frustrated and starts running at full bore toward the carriage.
It's coming.
Just with the nightmares in hot pursuit after it. And actually, you guys watch as what little light there is coming through the windows through the southern windows of the carriage just gets darkened as a massive shadow falls over the carriage.
Titus gets out.
All right.
Felix is running.
I'm getting out on the other side of the carriage.
Felix is close behind him. He's going to yell at Morlo. Morlo, Emma.
Yep.
Titus. So Titus moves. Felix is next out. So are you guys just all one by one emptying out?
I am. I don't know about anybody else.
So yeah, I was going out with Titus.
So through the owl's eyes, Isaac, Emma notices your companions running away from the carriage.
Are they like running away, or are they getting like trying to get around to get to the monster?
At this point, you just notice everybody coming out of the carriage.
Warlow's just getting out of the way in case the troll tries to push the carriage over.
Emma has the owl fly up so it's at a safe distance up in the air, and then she's gonna get back in her own body and
Hold on just one
start
second.
following.
Hello.
Has Dean had a shower?
Yeah, and he's dressed and ready to.
Good. I'm glad the children have had showers.
Yes.
And they're ready to go.
Bathed children are good children. So yes, as it runs up to the southern side of the carriage, you guys exit heading north as these nightmares come just in a cavalcade of flame and start surrounding it. This one coming down to land on the ground, this one flanking it to this side, this one coming to the south, and then this one just hovering immediately over the carriage itself as you guys get out and start moving your way. And once more, you watch as these limbs just fly out of this creature in all directions, taking all of them and just slamming them to the ground as one of the nightmares actually lands atop the carriage, prone. And the one to the east just rears up to its full height and drives its hooves into the back of this creature's neck and just scrapes all the way down. And as it burns and singes and tears into this thing's flesh, you watch as this creature collapses in on itself into a pile of worms that starts slithering away.
That was just a pile of worms?
Yeah, it was Oogie Boogie.
That's
I was
what's
gonna
left.
say, it looks like
Emma's-
Oogie Boogie Man.
How's the horse that got slammed on the carriage looking?
They're all looking rough. All four of the nightmares are looking rough, but they just breathing just puffs of fire and smoke out of their flaring nostrils. The one on top of the carriage just gets to its feet. And
Which one looks worse?
the worst one is actually the one that landed the killing blow.
Emma's gonna like step around the carriage and like if it'll like being in its field of view, if it'll allow, she's gonna try and get close to it.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh, the music got real quiet and I thought my headphones cut out again and I was really confused.
Nice. Oh, what was your
boy.
persuasion check?
24.
24. Okay, so this thing with like as the worms, what's left of the worms that this thing turned into upon its demise just singe and burn away off of its front hooves. It just stands there huffing and puffing, and it turns around and snaps its head to look toward you, and the nostrils flare for a second and the gleaming fiery eyes just narrow, and then it just kind of
And Emma
puts
just
its
kinda,
snout
like,
down.
She goes, here. You all should just run through this a few times, and she's gonna put down healing spirit right in the center of them all.
Okay, what form does your healing spirit take?
I'm actually gonna say the owl flies down, and like sort of mechanically the owl is in the dismissed pocket dimension, but
Mhm.
like it turns into the healing spirit.
So you watch as this owl descends and spreads its wings and goes from being a normal feathered barn owl and grows in size until it's got a 5-foot wingspan and is semi-corporeal. What's your wisdom modifier? Or what? Sorry, what's your wisdom modifier?
My wisdom mod is 2.
Okay, so you heal 2d6 damage.
Yeah, every time they go in it.
It's they errated healing spirit so that it caps at the number of you
They
heal.
did?
You heal a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. So you can heal 2d6.
Darn.
But taking your lead, Natari comes up and applies some magical healing to them as well. Well, says Davalor, that was an adventure.
I told you we needed to get out of this plane of existence.
What do you say, boys? Can we go back to the Prime? A nightmare just looks over at Davalor and just goes, I believe we are at their mercy. Though I would hate
if it'll
for the
allow
madam
it.
to have to deal with the loss of her entertainment for the soiree.
The madam is going to know that they have denied our request twice.
And Titus, hang on a second.
And Titus hangs on a second by getting back in the carriage.
Got it.
If it'll allow the one that was hurt and Emma, I guess the primary one that she healed, Emma's gonna try and pet its snout.
Roll me another persuasion check.
1. 21.
It's like it pulls away from you for a second and then begrudgingly lowers its snout.
She's just gonna pet it for a little bit, and then she's not gonna like stall it or anything. She's gonna go back.
Okay. Felix, when you say wait a minute and Titus storms into the carriage, what does Felix say?
No, I thought Dave I thought Dave was trying to be coy with the horses.
Yeah, he was giving them some serious shade.
Okay, I was saying hold on to see what the reaction from the nightmares was.
So meanwhile, one nightmare is off humoring the child. The other 3 just one by one, they all go and take their places.
I like that carriage, by the way.
And then they just kind of look back.
When they look back, Petra acknowledges them and says, "Thank you for protecting us," and goes back into the carriage.
Yeah, Emma's gonna pretty much do the same. She's gonna, the one she's petted, and she's gonna be like, "Thank you," and before she goes back in the carriage.
And Petra, as you say that, and Isaac, as you boop the snoot of a nightmare, just see them just kind of like slowly, still maintaining eye contact with you, narrow just these flaming sockets of burning rage, just narrow a little bit, but still they lower their heads a little bit.
Petra mirrors it, not breaking the gaze as well, and backs into the carriage.
Now, I'd like to note that Emma's like giving them the same respect she would to if Titania was in front of her. She's very respectful of these horses.
All right. And one by one, you resume. And I don't know why I didn't think to do this before. I could have just put you guys in the carriage where you're actually at. But one by one, you resume your spaces. In the carriage.
Check Messenger when you get a chance, Shannon. It's not important right now.
Drawing the curtains closed unless you specifically want to be looking out of them.
No, I want them closed.
And you hear Davalor say, "That was an adventure. I suggest everyone get some sleep. Hopefully, the steeds will acquiesce to our request."
Under Titus's breath, he goes, "An unnecessary adventure."
Someone definitely needs to go to sleep.
Those fair assessments.
And Davalor says, "Yes, well, bed down. Good night, everyone. Safe journeys the rest of the way." And he just kind of tucks his book back into his cloak and pulls the cloak up around himself. And kind
We
of
missed our
curls into a
chance to
little
get the
ball.
book. We missed our chance to get the book.
I forgot to ask you if he dropped it in the carriage amid all the hubbub because Petra was just going to pick it up and look.
He had it in his hand the whole time.
I figured.
And with a lurch, the carriage begins again with a slow trot, with the sound of the carriage wheels going with the clack, 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 clack over the boards of the bridge until meeting soft ground on the other side, continuing on through the border ethereal toward Verine Manor, where we will pick up next session.
Hooray! We didn't die.
I wondered how eager you guys would be to just immediately jump in and throw down, or if you would let them actually do their job. And to your benefit, you guys let the nightmares do their job.
That's what they're there for.
I really thought Morlo was going to go headlong. I thought for sure Morlo was just like, nope,
Well,
I'm not
Morlo
missing
was-
out on this.
Marla was getting ready to, but reserved.
Very cool. Very cool. Very apropos.
It was fun.
It was.
And so we shall see what lies ahead if and when this carriage arrives at its destination.
Thanks for that.
Naturally.
If
Everything's an if.
fair.
I figured at least one horse was going to die.
Aaron, I think your XP is way screwed up. Because it shows you being level 7, and that is not accurate.
I'm at
I did not do that. I'm
at 18,950.
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay, hold on just one second.
How did I do that? Oh my god.
Wishful thinking?
I have no idea how I did that.
I mean,
I'll
if you want to make
I'll-
this level 7.
I'll fix it for you if you don't mind. I'll put you where
Thank
you're supposed to
you.
be.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
How much experience do we get, actually?
Yeah, so
This is our first time to the to this plane.
I will say for everything that you guys have experienced here, go ahead and give yourself
Do it
5,000?
You have to this time. You never actually do it.
really.
Yeah.
999.
Go ahead and take 750 experience points.
Hooray.
751.
Just for Isaac.
That
Yep,
should put
seven.
us at 18,563.
Everybody's at different, just because people.
Ah.
I've started that rule where if you're not here, you don't get XP. Basically, Felix, what does that put you at?
Puts me at 19,700.
19.7. So that is where you should be, Aaron, because I think both of you have. I think you are supposed to be right where Felix is. So I will go in. You said 19.7.
Yeah, 19,700.
Okay.
So yeah, because we've done enough catch up to where I haven't lost out experience.
I hear it was a good year.
19,700. Better than 1917.